toes in the sand. I think I got some wanderlust.
7 footers. What is up?
What is up? It is a Tuesday. We're recording this on a Tuesday.
What isn't up? We leave town this week, Jarod.
The 7 footers jet is gassed up on the tarmac, ready to roll to Chicago.
NBA All-Star.
But before we leave, we got massive amounts of work to do.
The stress levels between preparing for All-Star and the NBA trade deadline, years have been knocked off my life. Gray hair has accumulated. I mean, I consider myself decently cute, and I ain't cute.
And you have your trench coat that you're wearing that you're so happy about.
My new little trenchy.
Which I dashed your hopes immediately you walked in. I was like, I hope you don't think you're carrying that trench coat.
No, I walked in and this mood killer looked at me as I was modeling my new cute trench coat and was like, you don't think you're wearing that to Chicago? I was like, is this an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians? So I'm about to hit you with my damn Birkin. If I could afford one.
I was going to say, you could afford a Birkin?
Nope. I could afford maybe the plastic wrap around the Birkin that comes in the
maybe not even that.
Probably not.
Wait, thinking about Chicago, so it's going to snow on Wednesday. So the day before we get there. And then sub-zero temperatures, like the next day.
I saw that. And
yeah, no, it's going to be frosty.
I saw that.
Which, you know, cool.
I don't do snow, but
you from Pennsylvania, I don't do snow,
but it's better than rain because I just did my spray tan last night
my God.
For the events, and I'm doing another one tonight just to make sure I'm the correct shade.
Of course.
And thank God it's not going to rain because your girl would be streaking.
To rain, actually, that would be pretty funny if it rained, like to see this Ray tan.
No, because I would look like a damn zebra that was rolled in Cheetos. So no one wants to see that. But what they do want to see is all these guys on their new teams.
Yeah.
And we got to talk about everything that happened during the trade deadline because it was very timid until like the last 24 hours. And then there were so many trades and different things happening and all the numbers going around. This is when I wish I was good at math. Because it was like 4-team trade. This one's here. This one's there. I was like, okay. So let's get into this here. Now, let's first talk about how the Warriors shipped off D'Angelo Russell after just basically acquiring him. And then we had Jacob Evans in the mix, Omarius Spellman, all to the Timberwolves for just Andrew Wiggins.
And a top 3 2021 pick.
And a first-round pick, 2022 second-round pick. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, who won the trade, first of all, in the short?
I mean, okay, so that's what everybody does, right? It's like who won, who lost, and we're not going to officially know until teams play.
But just eyeballing it right now.
Here's what I think.
Do tell.
At first glance, it would appear the Timberwolves won the trade because they got their man, right?
Yeah.
They've been openly coveting D'Angelo Russell and lusting after him, and they got him. And getting him satisfied their superstar, Karl Anthony Towns, who was making it very clear he was not happy with the current direction of the team. Well, now his BFF is there, so all should be well. However, knowing that the Timberwolves were lusting after D'Lo like they were, the Warriors probably could have gotten more, or hell, could have waited. I mean, I just it blows my mind because if I'm the Timberwolves, what are you thinking now? That now all of a sudden with D'Lo there, Karl's going to play better defense, and you're going to now be what?
Yeah.
Not a lottery team?
Yeah.
Like, I'm very unsure.
From a chemistry standpoint, it clearly makes sense, right?
Sure.
It wasn't working out. The old formula was tested, not worked out. So chemistry standpoint, do I think it's going to be better? Yes. Could it elevate Cat's game? Yes. But ultimately, it's going to come down to, like you said, you got to play D. That's it. You know what I mean? And not to mention, I do like this on both ends because let's be serious. D'Lo was a shortened quick fix while Klay was out. Mm-hmm. And then the whole big question mark around the Warriors was what's going to happen when Klay comes back. And I also like Wiggins because people would say, oh, yeah, the Warriors lost the trade, but think about what they're coming back to. Well, let them go through this a little bit, but then you have Steph, Klay, everybody coming back from the mend. And I think he's going to fit in much better than we think.
It's interesting, right? Because we didn't get to see what the Warriors would look like with Steph and Klay and D'Lo. Now, the problem, of course, is from a fit perspective. D'Lo is best operating with the ball in his hands, right?
Yeah.
Because he's excellent out of the pick and roll. But if he has the ball in his hands a lot, that means Steph Curry don't have the ball. And if you're the Warriors, why would you ever do that? Steph is the one that has to have the ball in his hands to play well. The other issue with D'Angelo from a fit perspective is, and I've talked to people around the Warriors, the coaches were not happy with his defensive tendencies and habits, which is to say there were none, right? Like, he's just not very good on that end of the floor. And the problem is Steph is a willing defender, but, like, he's not an A-plus defender. So if you've got already D'Angelo not even giving effort on defense, you now have to switch Steph to a tougher player to match up with on that end, which takes energy from him on the offensive end because D'Lo's a liability, right? So from that standpoint, I get it. And the wing makes sense because, look, they lost Kevin Durant, so they need a wing player, and that is Andrew Wiggins. Now, Andrew Wiggins, a number 1 pick, but we've seen him for 6 years now in the NBA.
His entire career with
Minnesota. Now, and to be fair to Wiggins, that's a franchise with a lot of turmoil. He's had a bunch of head coaches, GMs in and out. Like, it is not the model of stability, that franchise.
Yeah.
However, he still has not shown the requisite improvement that you would expect from someone of his talent who was a number 1 pick. He has all the physical tools to be a plus defender, but he's not.
And we talked about this last season too.
Yeah.
And this season.
And we got fooled at the beginning of the season, as we do every year. He comes out hot, 10 games up, was like, oh, look at Andrew Wiggins. And then reverts back to what he's always been. Now, I hate to be someone who already says, oh, this is just what a guy is and it's over. Because he's still young in years terms.
He's 24,
right? I mean, he's 24, 25. I mean, he's a young guy.
Yeah.
However, we're still not seeing the things that we would like to see from him. But here's the Warriors' bet. Their bet is, okay, the Timberwolves culture, disaster. Us, stable ownership, stable head coach, 2 superstars and Draymond Green who can light a fire under his ass. Maybe all of that and our culture can now make him into a better version of himself because we're not going to expect him to be the number 1 option. Listen, man, you are number 3 on this team.
Yeah.
Steph and Klay got this.
But the thing is, too, I feel like this is also a good fit because of everything you just said. I feel like he may need a little bit of structure in the team that he's with, and I don't think he's interested in being the guy. So I think this role is going to be nice for him to slip into. And I think that, behind the scenes, and again, I'm not trying to sound like a gossiper, but after so many years of struggling with the same formula, there had to be a little turmoil with him and Kat. Just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, from everything I've heard about them, I mean, I don't think anything's been like
nothing crazy or deal breaking.
Like besties off the floor or anything. But,
yeah.
I mean, I don't think there was any turmoil. I think, look, with that kind of talent, and I said this year. I said, from a talent perspective, under 25 and under, are there more than 5 combinations, duos you were taking from a talent perspective over Kat and Wiggins?
Yeah.
And I stand by that. If you just take those guys from pure talent, they should have been a lot better than they were.
Oh, 100%.
And for whatever reason,
I mean, you're the number 1 pick, like you just said.
For whatever reason, they weren't. I mean, we have our guesstimations as to why that is. Partly organization, but partly also on them too. So the Warriors are betting our culture, light years ahead, a.k.a. Joe Lacob, we will be able to get the best out of Andrew Wiggins. We're going to see.
Now, we were talking about, the trade and the fit and how the Timberwolves were vying for D'Lo for a long time, and they made that no secret, especially after they got him with the videos that they were sharing. But do you think that there was anybody else better suited for this trade than the 4 men that we have seen?
There was nobody else out there for them to get, really.
Yeah, and not to mention D'Lo and Wiggins' contracts. They didn't match up, but they were
close.
They were very close.
They were close, and again, that's where the picks come in. But here's the thing. The Warriors gave up the better player. That is why they got back the 2021 top 3 protected pick and the 22 second-round pick. Because the 2021 first-round pick is going to be likely a better pick than whatever the Warriors get out of this draft. Because this current draft, the 2020 draft, is not shaping up to be a very good one from all the prognosticators. James Wiseman, but, he barely played at Memphis. LiAngelo Ball or LaMelo Ball, excuse me, maybe. We have a handful of guys, but no one's jumping off the charts like we had in the last couple of draft classes.
No.
So we shall see. It'll be interesting to see what. And from a Warriors perspective, I'm wondering, would they have been better served to keep D'Lo, trade that and let's say when the lottery comes around, whatever that pick they get, let's say it's a number 1 pick or whatever, trade that and D'Lo for a more ready-made third, quote-unquote, star to play with Steph and Clay, right? Who could that be? I don't know. Salaries to the match, but
I know.
Who could they have gotten, right, that was better and ready-made to be on the same timeline? Because the other thing to keep in mind is, okay, Steph and Clay had a year off, but they had a year off and they're not 25, right? Like, Steph's going to be 32.
A lot of people forget that.
Right? Like, so, and Draymond, again, his game is not going to age well. So this team, they're trying to gear back up to get on this track to win next year. Mm-hmm. Is Andrew Wiggins part of that? I don't know. I mean, I'll put it like this: from what we've seen from him in his 6 years in Minnesota, no.
Yes, exactly. I mean, Wiggins the thing with Wiggins is, and this is the last thing I'll say, when I think of him, I think quiet, and not like that he's just quiet. I mean, quiet on the floor. Like, It's always like there's something pulling him back or holding him back from.
You look up at the box score sometime. You're like, he got 20 points, and you're like,
and it's like, wait, I didn't see that.
Or you look up and he has no points, and you're like, it sounds about right. Like that's the kind of player that he is, and it's again, the talent is there. Mm-hmm. So that part is maddening. Exactly.
Let's move on to this trade, because this was one that I thoroughly enjoyed, and the dramatics that came with it were quite interesting as well. All right, the Grizzlies send Andre Iguodala, Jay Crowder, Solomon Hill to the Heat, all for Justise Winslow, Dion Waiters, and James Johnson. Now we have Iguodala. He signed a 2-year, $30 million extension with the Heat, joins Jimmy Butler, and the Grizzlies rerouted Johnson to the Timberwolves for, I don't want to say it wrong, Gorgie Deng, yes, and they waived Dion Waiters. So
smart move on that.
Yes, with all the issues that were going on there, definite smart move. It was causing, just not good vibes in the locker room.
You know how much I love this Memphis team, and it's funny, in the group chat I have with the guys, I was like,
oh, I haven't been added yet.
Yes, well. In the group chat with the guys, they're all teasing me like, I can't wait till Waiters gives Triple J his first edible or whatever.
Dad.
And I was like, stop it.
Dad, don't corrupt Triple J.
Exactly. And I'm so glad they waived Dion Waiters, because I don't want him anywhere near Triple J and Ja and those guys.
No, they don't need that.
They don't need that in their lives. These are young kids who are playing well and doing the right thing and looking like they want to make a run to the playoffs, so I'm excited for them. This trade is interesting.
We know Iggy wanted out, so they got that drama out, and now I feel like it's a better fit for him with the Heat, because he wanted a contender, and the Heat are contending.
Oh yeah.
And when you have a player that you're teaming up with like Jimmy Butler, I think that's what Andre Iguodala needs. He needs that fire, that, as he calls himself, a dog. So he needs that, specifically Andre Iguodala and Jay Crowder.
Oh, Jay Crowder and Solomon Hill are going to be great.
I love those two, especially Jay Crowder, because you can throw him. He's one of those players you could throw him in any situation, and he's going to perform for you.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
What is interesting to me about this trade is, so Solomon Hill and Jay Crowder weren't just regular any old guys for Memphis. They were contributing to Memphis being where they are right now, which is in the 8th seed in the Western Conference. So now those minutes are going to have to go to who? Josh Jackson and other players who weren't really, and Kyle Anderson. Okay, fine. But if those guys were better than Hill and Crowder, they would have been playing more minutes than Hill and Crowder. And they weren't. So from a Memphis perspective, I'm a little bit confused as to why they clogged up their salary cap. They were going to have, I don't know, $30-something million this coming offseason in cap space. They're in the luxury tax now, or not in the tax now. And I'm like, why are you taking on all this salary for these guys? That part to me is what I don't understand right now. Again, I'm glad Waiters is waived and Johnson got rerouted to the Timberwolves. So Gorgie Deng is fine. I mean, what they clearly wanted was Justise Winslow. That's the piece that
he's perfect for Miami.
I don't know, because Winslow's been hurt. So And his best season in the league was when he played point guard and had the ball in his hand. Memphis already has a point guard named Ja Morant. You think Memphis is going to take the ball out of Ja's hand and give it to Justise Winslow?
Exactly.
They are definitely not. So
exactly.
I don't know what Justise Winslow is going to be doing. Now, look, maybe the young GM, who, by the way, GM of the Grizzlies is 30 years old. Just putting that out there. If their young GM has got some kind of plan that his culture and what Taylor Jenkins has got going on there can figure out what to get the best out of Justise Winslow, okay, maybe, but I don't see it. The other thing is he does have that Duke connection with Grayson Allen and Ty Jones, right? Because they won a title, or Trey Jones. They won a title together.
Yeah.
At Duke. So there's that. But again, was all that worth clogging up your cap and locking it up for the next year and now leaving you hamstrung? Again, I love what this Memphis team is doing, and I wonder. Yes, he's on the right timeline because he's 23.
Yeah.
But how good is he going to be? Again, his best season was with the ball in his hands. So if you put the ball in his hands, that means you're taking it out of Ja Morant's. Why would you want to do that?
Well, exactly. And I don't think they're going to do that. I think that, like we said, that he's been hurt. So I think they obviously had a conversation and was like, they had to have figured out where they're going to put him.
I hope so.
Because you can't bring somebody in that's going to, clog up any type of thunder with Ja Morant.
Definitely not.
Especially with the numbers he's putting up. He just snatched a triple-double. Yeah. So I don't think that's
and Winslow's not a good shooter, period. Like, his best shooting percentage is 51.3. That's below league average. Like, that. Like, again, on a team that's going to need spacing on the floor, he doesn't provide that. Now, is it because they think he's athletic and defensively? Okay, maybe. I could see some stuff there, but I just...
That doesn't make sense to me a little bit. I mean, maybe they were just doing it in the deal, but I do like Johnson returning.
Or going to... Well, he's got rerouted to... He came for a second, but then he's back to Minnesota, to Timberwolves. Yes, they sent him... Yes, they sent him.
I'm sad.
Because that's how they got Gorgie Deng. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The second half of that. Yeah. Well,
and look, Gorgie Deng's fine. He can space a bit at 5. And
we didn't see any major
type
of team-altering trades.
Look, that is going to help Miami, obviously, getting Andre Iguodala in the playoffs is going to be key for them.
Oh, now, he's a playoff player. That's what
Miami
you want him for.
Miami would have been better suited if they got him and Danilo Gallinari. But clearly they couldn't pull that move off, right?
That ain't happening.
They weren't able to get that. But that was the talk that they were trying to do. But look, Iggy will be good for them. Sorry, he doesn't like to be called Iggy. Andre would like to, be part of a contender. And by the way, Andre Iguodala is the finesse god. Homeboy just got the Heat to go 2 years, $30 million extension. I mean, listen, more power to him. Well done, my guy. Well done.
He's gonna thrive there too. And his return to Golden State.
Golden State the other night,
loved it.
Yeah.
You see the rock paper scissors on the side of the court there
by Clay and Steph. Clay won that, so Clay got to give him the little tribute.
I love it.
And again, great trade for Miami. I don't like it for Memphis, if only because of what they did to their cap space. And they're hamstrung now in terms of what they can do
now what do you
from
do?
A flexibility standpoint this summer and going into next year, right? I mean, again, unless they think that they are the Justise Winslow whisperers and they're going to figure something out, cool. But that was a steep price to get. Because, again, they waived waiters, but they got to eat that salary for the rest of this year and next year. So, I mean, okay, all right.
Can you imagine in a perfect world if Dwayne Wade didn't retire?
Oh, and it was Dwayne and Jimmy and Iggy. I mean, Dwayne at the end of his career, but it would have been interesting. I'll put it like that. But listen, this Miami Heat team's going to be really good with Bam Adebayo, with Iggy, with Tyler Hero, what those guys are doing down there. Derrick Jones Jr. I mean,
I'm excited.
Miami's good. They're for real.
It's going to be nice. All right, let's move on here because we got to talk about the Clippers, all right? Marcus Morris shipped from the Knicks to the Clippers in a 3-team deal. We have Jerome Robinson, who went From the Clippers to the Wizards, the Knicks got Mo Harkless and a 2020 first-round pick from the Clippers. The Clippers waive Isaiah Thomas after acquiring him from the Wizards. Now, let's break this down because I like Marcus Morris in LA.
Oh, yeah, it's huge.
LA just didn't need anything, and they just got a little bit better.
That kind of helps them, right? Because they've got someone who can hit threes off the bench, who's going to play defense, who's one of those tough guys, a quote-unquote dog. I'm going to give the Knicks some props here for a second because I know, crazy.
What?
Because they got a first-round pick back for Marcus Morris. Kudos. Because look, let's talk about the Knicks for a second. If they want to rebuild this organization and get back into winning, and we talked about how they figured out, okay, Leon Rose from CAA, that's the name that we've been talked about. He will, apparently that's who they're trying to get. He will no longer be an agent, and he will become the Knicks GM, whatever. And then, of course, the other rumor is that longtime CAA advisor and just overall connector in the basketball world, William Wesley, a.k.a. Worldwide Wes, will also come aboard to help. In what role and capacity, I don't know. That's when it first came out. So the Rose stuff is still continued. We haven't heard anything about William Wesley since. So stay tuned on that. But the way you're going to build, if you are the Knicks, is by accumulating as many draft picks as is possible. Because when you are that terrible of a franchise and you haven't done anything in decades, you build through the draft. Free agents aren't coming there. We saw. You thought you were getting KD and Kyrie.
Exactly.
No.
And the way that I see it for New York is there's only one option left, and that's what you just said, to build now. Forget it. Forget the free agents. Forget taking the chances. Forget this and that. Build on solid foundation. And then that follows with, the culture and everything else.
Do what the Nets did. When the Nets, when Boston traded them Pierce and Garnett, and the Nets traded away all those draft picks, everybody's like, oh, man, Boston fleeced them, blah, 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 whatever. Nets were in purgatory after that. Horrendous for years. What did they do? Slowly but surely built through the draft, right?
Exactly.
They got Karis LeVert. They got Jared Allen. They picked up Spencer Dinwiddie. They got Joe Harris. They developed all these guys into better than average NBA players. Then all of a sudden, look what happens 4 years later. Kyrie, KD comes, right? But that's how you got to do it. It ain't going to be no quick fix. So go back through the draft, build and develop the players you have. Listen, I think Kevin Knox and RJ Barrett are uber talented. Why hasn't Kevin Knox gotten better? Mitchell Robinson.
Not to mention, we haven't even heard anything really from Knox.
These guys are talented guys. Develop them. Get your player development staff together. That's what the Nets were prided themselves on. Look at what Joe Harris and Spencer Dinwiddie have become.
Insane. Do
that. Get a good development staff in there and develop your guys. You got talent. I just told you Barrett, Knox, and Mitchell Robinson. Talent. Okay, you're terrible again this year, so you're getting another lottery pick. Cool. You just got another first-round pick. Just keep acquiring picks and just fill up your scout and identify good young talent that, need some time to develop, but you develop them. Next thing you know, hey,
look what we're doing.
Look what we're doing.
Here we
are.
are.
When you start doing that, free agents around the league start saying, oh, the culture's changed there. They're developing players. They made it to the playoffs. You know what? I can rock with that. That's when your Leon Rose and your Worldwide West connections can then help you bring those guys in, change your culture. All of a sudden, in literally 5 years, you're relevant again, and you're good.
The thing is, with certain owners or certain people in the front office, they don't want to wait. It's a patience problem.
Ain't no quick fixes.
Exactly.
My friends.
It's we're gonna get this, but we've already tried that
Didn't work.
a million times.
Hasn't worked.
Exactly. And again, like I said, I think it trickles down to a lot of people and patience.
I am pleased with what the Knicks got for that. So
yeah,
good
100%.
small thing for them. On the Clippers side, I mean, look, Morris is gonna. That's huge.
You got a
them.
3-point shooter in him, a defensive big man in him, and they have what, 2 roster spots open.
So who knows? They could pick up somebody else, off the waiver or buyout market. Look, the Clippers are looking good. Like, as I said, I'd like them to get another big man possibly. Mm-hmm. But listen, I'm loving what the Clippers did, and this is the right environment, I think, for Morris, and Mo Harkless gets to come home.
Hey, yeah,
the former St. John's player gets to come back to New York.
He's not doing bad, averaging 26. And
we'll see.
Hey,
we will see.
We shall see. All right, let's move on to another interesting trade. Robert Covington, Clint Capella, 4-team, 12-player trade, okay? Covington to the Rockets, Capella to the Hawks. Timberwolves got 2 first-round picks that they sent to Denver for Malik Beasley and Juan Hernan-Gomez. Rockets also got Jordan Bell, who they sent to the Grizzlies. So a lot of moving parts here.
Crazy.
Let's break it down a little bit, okay? Do we like Covington on the Rockets?
I do, because, listen, I think I said this last week. If not, I'll say it again. Daryl Morey and Mike D'Antoni are GMing and coaching for their jobs, right? Because in all likelihood, they're not going to be around next season. So they're going all in on this small ball thing. Rocco's a great defender, good 3-point shooter, works perfectly. Now, Capella going to the Hawks. My question is, what does that mean for John Collins? Are they thinking they're not going to be able to resign him? What's happening out there?
Exactly.
In Atlanta. Now, he would be a great pick and roll man with Trey, but I'm just confused about a little bit about what Atlanta's thinking there. Timberwolves, all right, Malik Beasley, who I talked about last week, I like that. And Juan Hernan-Gomez, fine, no issues there. Jordan Bell going to Memphis, again, another young guy who's on the same timeline as the Grizzlies. For the Rockets, it's do or die. This current iteration, they're going all in on this because, again, as I said, I don't think Morey and D'Antoni are going to be there next year unless the Rockets somehow make a run to the NBA Finals, which, here's what I'll say this. I will say this. The Rockets are going to probably shoot 63s a game going forward, right?
And miss 27 of them?
Here's the thing.
Like they did in the finals when they could have won?
Here's the thing. In a 7-game series, all they have to do is have 2 games where they hit 20 or more threes, which they're more than capable of doing.
Yeah.
Right? So that's 2 wins right there. And then you figure, all right, the other team will be bad one game, so you get a win there. That's 3. The other team wins the other 3. Game 7, anything could happen. I'm not saying they're going to win the NBA Finals or even get out of the Western Conference. I'm just saying that style, maybe.
I love the way you think, Jarod.
Maybe.
I really do. I 100% enjoy it.
And this is what Morey is betting on. He's betting on the math, right? He's just betting on, okay.
It's what he does.
Yes. He's like.
The man is a human number.
If we just keep shooting threes, okay, understood. Again, we saw what happened, right, in a very famous playoff series. And they picked the wrong time to miss 27.
Not to mention, that all depends, too, how James Harden is playing.
Who, by the way, has moved out of, for me anyway, the top 5 MVP race. Like, he's no longer there.
Oh, shoot.
And I love Harden. But
I know. That's why I am flabbergasted is the word today.
It's just.
You know what? I mean, it is what it is. He's not playing well.
It is what it is. He's dipping a bit, and, that's understandable.
The sad thing is when I say he's not playing well and you say he's dipping, that is impeccable for the average NBA player.
Oh, I mean, he's still putting up fantastic numbers. It's just,
Hey.
Giannis is clearly performing like the best player in the world. I mean, it's
And congratulations on the birth of his son.
Yes.
I didn't even know he was expecting.
Yes, Giannis and his longtime girlfriend. They just born the other day, Tuesday.
So
no,
cute.
not today, Monday, yesterday. So he missed the game in Sacramento.
Yeah, well, that's a good one.
Yes, kudos to Giannis.
Love it. Anything else to add to this 4-team, 12-player trade?
Yeah, as far as Atlanta, I'm still kind of like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to be a fly on the wall
With Travis Schlenk to be like, hey, what are you thinking down there in the ATL?
Yeah. Like, what's going on? The Hawks have a lot to do.
And the Wolves, I will say the Wolves sneaky with those 2 first-round picks and getting Malik Beasley. I kind of like that for them. Look.
Good low-key getting Malik Beasley.
The Wolves are betting on the fact that, okay, we got D'Lo now. We have some stability. Gerson Rosas is our GM.
Yep.
Cat's going to be happier now. His BFF is here. Malik Beasley, as I mentioned, these draft picks. Maybe they're thinking, all right, we're going to be better. We're going to make a run. Because I think here's what's happening. Everyone in the Western Conference that's like not good is looking at Memphis, and saying, oh, well, look at Memphis. They got young kids, and they're in the 8th seed, and
You also don't have Ja Morant.
Well, and again, I think that's what GMs and a lot of people do to themselves. They go, oh, player X is a comparable player to this guy from a basketball playing standpoint. But it's not just about that. There is an intensity and an atmosphere and energy that Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. and Brandon Clark are infusing that Grizzlies franchise with that I don't know that Cat, D'Lo have. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much agree with that. Especially with Ja Morant. He's that kind of player, that once in a while kind of player that you see come in and has that Damian Lillard quiet confidence.
That boulder on his shoulder.
Not
a chip, a boulder.
Yeah, literally. Like,
a boulder.
Just carries a massive rock on his back. And it's just like, I'm going to show all you people what's up.
I mean, and look at him. As a rookie, not backing down from anyone.
No, he's...
Kyrie Irving, James Harden, it doesn't matter.
Mm-mm.
As he said, Steph Curry. I got respect for those guys.
I'm a fan, but
I mean,
that's it.
That don't mean I'm not a competitor.
Exactly.
Right? And that is his mindset, and that is infused that franchise. So, yeah, I don't, just because you think you're going to make a couple moves, don't think you can infuse that type of energy and spirit into your team. I've said it before. Detroit Pistons legend, Hall of Famer, Isaiah Thomas said it. The secret of basketball is it's not actually about basketball, right? Like there is, and that, of course, and I told this story before, but I'll tell it again. That came from when the Pistons were routinely bumping their heads against the great Boston Celtics in the 80s. And they're like, we got to do something to get over the hump. Something's not happening. And there was some internal turmoil going on with Adrian Dantley, who was an excellent player for the Detroit Pistons. But it wasn't working. So they traded Dantley to get Vinnie Johnson, a.k.a. the Microwave, a lesser player than Dantley, but one that knew his role on that team. Next thing you know, championship, title, right? And these are the things. It's these little things about that person and that player, the feeling, the camaraderie, all those things. These are things that matter when it comes to winning. And again, because it's hard to win with young guys in the NBA.
Yes.
Triple J and Ja are 20 years old. It's hard to win with 20-year-olds. But if they're 20-year-olds with a certain kind of attitude and belief, you can do that.
Exactly. And that's the kind of guy that Ja Morant is. And speaking of roles and going back to roles a little bit, I love when I hear Dwayne Wade talk about roles within the NBA because he would say, everyone gave me shit about, quote unquote, taking a step back when LeBron came to Miami and this and that. But he let LeBron be the guy because he knew that was how they were going to win. He didn't have to be the guy to win. When you figure out your role in that aspect where you're almost in a way putting aside your ego to win for the sake of winning, you're not thinking about yourself. You're thinking about the bigger picture. And that's the difference that these older guys, these vets in the NBA have over the younger guys. But when you have a special guy like Ja Morant, he's the kind of guy that's going to understand that as opposed to Grayson Allen. And I'm just throwing that out there randomly.
And here's my thing, and I want to be fair to NBA players. Look, you have to have a certain amount of ego to even make it in this league.
Oh, absolutely. It's just a factor of how to manage it.
I mean, do you have the belief that you're going to make the NBA? Like, you got to really think very highly of yourself, right? We talk about it all the time. there are only 450 of these jobs available.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not all available every year, right? There's only a small amount that are available every year. So to think you're one of the 30-something good, like, what? You got to really be feeling yourself to think that you're that good.
100%.
So I get it. But again, the challenge then is how do I fit? Because let's be real. For the majority of NBA players, fit is key. That's how they're going to succeed. Yes, your LeBrons, your KDs, those types of people, they are the fit. Wherever they go, because they're that good.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Your Giannis is as he did, but no one thought Giannis was going to be that good. Those kinds of people are the systems unto themselves because they are uber talented. We always say levels to this. Mostly everybody else has to be in the right situation for them to realize their full talents and end up in a winning situation.
Yeah.
And guess what? Not everybody does that. That's why not everybody wins. It's hard to do that in this league. Very hard.
It is. And like you said, again, it's levels, it's understanding. I want everybody to have the confidence of LeBron James, but it's a matter of where, again.
Confident within your role.
Exactly, within your role. I mean, you don't see, who? I mean, I'm trying to think of like a good example of it to be.
Like a Malcolm Brogdon?
Yeah. That's a perfect example. Or like a sixth man, a good sixth man, like an Eric Gordon or even, Lou Williams.
Perfect. Know their roles.
Know your roles, fit into those roles, and then that's when you start to break the glass ceilings within that role. You're not going to come here and be Harden on the Rockets. So if I'm Eric Gordon, I'm going to take sixth man and I'm going to fucking run with it. Oop, excuse me.
It's all good. I
think that was the first time I ever said the F word.
That's why we have the E label on the podcast.
Oh my God.
So it's all good.
That just like slipped right out. Okay. So anything else to add to this last trade?
Nothing else to add to that. I'm just curious to see how this all plays out. And
same
with Indiana, who's on a bit of a losing streak right now, they didn't make any trades, but they're reworking Victor Oladipo back into the lineup. Ugh. So I'll be very curious to see how that all breaks down with them because, listen, the Eastern Conference, first the playoffs in general, but the Eastern Conference is going to be, as we know Milwaukee's up there, but listen, Miami, Boston, Indiana, and, Philly, for as bad as they're playing, defensively, as I always say, there's a ceiling they can get to that not many other teams can get to.
I mean, when you're 8 foot, it's not that hard. The whole starting five is 8 foot, so it's not that hard. Literally, they're like going on their tippy toes to like do blocks at this point. So, and speaking of streaks and everything, kudos to the Raptors.
Yeah, 14 in a row. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Listen, the Raps are legit, man. Like I don't know what everybody's, Listen,
people sleep, Jarod. You know they sleep. All right, let's talk about 2 quick minutes with Brooklyn Nets guard Garrett Temple.
Yeah, so Garrett Temple is one of the great guys in the NBA. I did a feature on him actually a couple weeks ago for BET. He did a screening of the movie Just Mercy in Brooklyn for some kids, the Michael B. Jordan movie.
I
telling the
saw
life of Brian
that.
Stevenson. Yeah.
Were you around Michael B. Jordan?
No, Michael B. Jordan wasn't there.
I was going to say, because you didn't call me.
Don't worry. I know better than if I'm going to be around certain people to give you a call, but I was not.
Just so you know. Just so you know what's up.
But anyway, Garrett's great. And so we spent some time at that event just talking. He's got some great ideas about what he wants to do in his post-career. But I caught up with him because, I cover the Nets, and we did a quick 2 minutes after a recent home game. So here's Garrett Temple of the Brooklyn Nets. All right, I'll ask you the fun questions later.
Okay.
When are you getting the stitches out?
I got them out tonight.
You got them out?
Yeah.
So this team's got a couple of games left until the All-Star break. What do you guys, especially with these next 4 games coming up, going to be tough? What's the mindset with Toronto and Indy twice?
Exactly. First of all, Indiana's a team that we struggle with. So we got to come with our hard hat on. We know what makes them good and the way that they beat us the last 2 times. So we got to come and focused, have an aggressive mentality. And Toronto the same way. A couple of games they beat us. We had chances.
Yeah.
But just follow the game plan at the end of the day, defend like we've been doing the last 2 games. And I think we'll be all right.
And as a vet for the younger guys on the team, what do you sort of tell them heading into All-Star break?
This is where you can, find ways to get your money. A lot of teams, even some of the good teams,
Take the foot off the gas.
Yeah, take the foot off the gas a little bit. Even though every coach in the league says it, some teams still do it.
Human nature.
So hopefully we're not trying to be one of those teams. We're trying to be the opposite. So might be able to get a couple even on the road.
And for you, what's going to be the focus for you over All-Star break as you gear up towards not even the second half, the last third of the season?
Right, just relaxing, man. Taking my mind off the game, and then spending time with my fiance, relaxing, chilling.
Yeah, I bet you're going to have some wedding plans for you.
Yeah, right. Getting my mind off the game and just getting relaxed, heading into the last grind, 30 games.
Yeah, man. And you are the most Natalie attired net in the locker room. Where's your style and swag come from?
Man, I always like dressing up in a suit. I don't really have no fashion sense, like, street fashion, nothing like that. I like dressing up in a suit. I'd really just pick stuff that I think the colors look good. That's really basically it. I don't have no stylist or nothing. My girl might tell you she picks some things. She does a little bit, but I do most of it.
But it's you.
Yeah.
All right, man. I appreciate you.
No problem, bro.
As again, Garrett's a great guy. He and his fiance recently got engaged. I had a chance to meet her at the Just Mercy screening and talk to her as well. Really good. And I joked to him, like, yeah, you probably could have some wedding plans for you over All-Star break while you're resting and recouping. And that's a big thing, these guys who aren't participating in All-Star weekend, it's very important that over this week break or so, that they get some time to rest and relax. A lot of them go on vacation just to sort of recharge and get their minds and their bodies ready for that last stretch, because it's the last third of the season. And then pushing for the Nets, especially towards the playoffs and seeing what they can do once they get there. Garrett's dad, Collis Temple, played at LSU as Garrett did, and Collis was the first black player to play college basketball at LSU. So he's a family of a long history of just advocacy and various things. And he talked about it after the movie screening that he may want to go to law school after he's done playing and work to sort of change the justice system. So really good guy in the NBA, someone that if people don't know Garrett Temple's story, his dad, Collis Temple, and just his family story, it's really interesting and something that you all should look into. So my thanks again to Garrett Temple of the Brooklyn Nets.
Yes. Let's move into a little bit of All-Star and the new format. Now, my computer has froze here, which had all my notes, so let me pull them up.
The beauty of modern technology.
Literally, it's frozen on everything right now, so let's pull this up, shall we?
This is great podcasting, by the way.
Oh, my God.
When there's dead space.
Only the best.
Well, so
Only the best.
there's the first thing, which is the resetting the game after each quarter, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's each team is playing one quarter, and that's the score, right? Like, and then whoever wins the quarter wins it, and then you move on to the next one. In general, look, I think what Adam is trying to do is obviously continue to drum up interest and get more buzz around the All-Star game. It's an exhibition game, so I just don't know how much you're going to generate interest from that perspective. Like, I don't know what that's going to do. But anyway.
All right. Well, here it is now. Now, we all know the rosters. We have Team LeBron, Team Giannis. They chose their teams. Now, this is the first time that we're not going to be doing an Eastern Conference, Western Conference matchup. All right. Now, we have a completely new format here. So if you don't know it, listen up. All right. Like we said, every quarter counts for charity. Now, the All-Star teams, they're going to compete to win each quarter for Chicago-based charities.
Yep.
Now, the second thing, the new game ending. The fourth quarter is going to be untimed, and the teams are going to play to a final target score, meaning that the game will end with a basket or a made free throw instead of with the clock running out. Now, the new format here, each of the first three quarters will begin with the score of 0-0 and will last 12 minutes. At the start of the fourth quarter, the game clock will be turned off and a final target score will be set. Now,
I think it's first 24, right, in that fourth to honor Kobe.
Yes,
I believe.
yes. The final target score is going to be determined by the leading team's total. So cumulative score through 3 quarters and then adding 24 points.
Okay.
Now, once the final target score is set, the teams will play untimed for the fourth quarter, and the first team to reach the final target score will win the game ultimately. Now, I had examples, but I think, I can save you guys those for a little bit. But now with each organization, like we said, they're going to donate to charity, and then I like the new format. I mean,
interesting.
I like it because I love anything that has to do with charity. I think it's a little confusing. I'm not going to lie. When I was doing research, I was kind of like, okay. But I mean, I like it in the charity aspect. I do like the tributes to Kobe. Now we have Team LeBron that's going to wear number 2 for Gianna, and then Team Giannis who's going to wear number 24 for Kobe to honor them. And then we also have, the celebrity game, which is going to be amazing. We have Stephen A. as one of the coaches. That's going to be fun. We have a ton of stars coming through. I know Quavo's making a huge presence down there.
Yeah, he's actually doing something for BET. We have an activation going on down there, so that should be interesting.
Yes, I actually will be there.
Oh, look at you.
You know. Now, we don't have the performers yet solidified.
Well, Chance the Rapper for sure.
Yeah.
And Common.
Yeah, we just don't have, I believe it's Anthem.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah,
I
we don't have for the regular NBA All-Star game.
Okay.
But for the Celebrity All-Star game, which is going to be Friday, February 14th, there's a bunch of people in it. I mean, we have obviously Chance the Rapper, who's the captain of Stephen A's team. Quavo's on that team. Anthony Spice Adams. You got Ronnie 2K.
Cream Bigum's Anthony Spice Adams.
Right. You got Asia Wilson, WNBA superstar. Darius Miles, NBA
I think for
legend.
me, the NBA All-Star Weekend, I think the game itself is kind of what it is. Again, that chat with the guys were always there. It's like, not an argument, but like discussion about it. They're like, I wish these guys would play. I'm like, when did they ever play in the All-Star game? Like, it's not that's just what that is. To me, the fun is Rising Stars on Friday, Celebrity Game, and then Saturday, Slam Dunk, 3-point skills. Like, that to me is the exciting part of All-Star Weekend.
Oh, yeah.
The game itself is, it's good, but it's not, it's meh.
It's kind of them just getting to play with their friends who they're never going to get to play with again, probably.
And these guys, for viable reasons, they don't play hard because, they're not trying to get hurt and injured like
at NBA All-Star Weekend.
NBA All-Star Weekend,
Exactly.
Now, the cool part is, again, is that because they're competitors, if the game is tight late, you'll see them ratchet up the defense.
Oh, yeah.
And they do that. Like, was it last year where LeBron and KD like trap Steph in the corner and like you couldn't get the.
Yep, I remember that.
They'll do stuff like that. Like late, if the game is close, there's a chance for the other team to catch up. And then certain guys will go play, like Giannis will play hard, try to win MVP. But
and LeBron will turn down a sick dunk. Do all that.
But it's really just more about fans seeing these guys do exciting things and have a good time, basically yucking it up with their peers, right? I mean that's.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And this is a return home for AD.
Yeah, that's what this is. It's about, and I love the mics, and so you can hear, like, what they're saying on the court. Like, that to me is what's fun about it, right? Because, again, it's an exhibition game, so you're not going to get, playoff intensity or, like, the finals. That's not
to mention, it's very cool to see these guys on the same team who are the best.
Yeah. I will say Giannis's draft strategy, everybody's killing him. But here's what I like that he did. He picked teammates. All the teammates are on his team, except for, of course, LeBron and AD. But it's Rudy and Donovan Mitchell, Ben and Joel. Like, I like that. Is it Ben and Joel on his team? Let's pull that up.
Yeah, I think so. I would, but my computer's frozen.
Yeah, I like that he went with the teammates. I think that's just cool. And I love his joke about I went with all the African brothers because he got Joel, he got Pascal Siakam. That was funny. I enjoyed that. So he did not get Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is on LeBron's team, but again, he does have teammates in Rudy and Donovan Mitchell, which I like, and he got teammates in Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, right? So, and of course, as well as himself with Chris Middleton. So there's continuity there. So I like that from his side. If you're looking at just a straight raw talent perspective, I mean, LeBron just picked all the best dudes.
I mean, yeah, when you look at it on paper,
LeBron just picked the best dudes.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just kind of where he went. I also love the fact when he said, "Ooh, this one's tough," and Charles was like, "You don't want the dribbler?" Meaning James Harden. He's like, "I want someone who's going to pass the ball," like, which I thought was funny, right? Like,
I love that. And we've covered All-Star in the past. Yeah. We've been around. It's for the fans who don't know, it's a very fun weekend. There, no matter what location it is,
it's a busy weekend for sure.
It's busy. There are parties. There are events. There's activations everywhere you go. There's a superstar.
Yeah, and also the NBA. There's NBA Cares. There's all the stuff they're doing with like the local youth teams. All this local Chicago like high school basketball games like that NBA players are at. Like the NBA Africa League. Like there's a lot of things going on this weekend that are for the community, they're doing something with one of the food shelters in Chicago. I mean, honestly, the amount of things that there are to do is overwhelming. We're not going to make it to all those things because there's just too many things to do.
No.
But, we're going to try to make it to as many things as we can. Obviously, all the encore stuff will be at, and then we'll try to get you guys as much access as we can to the behind-the-scenes off-court stuff.
We are going to have, at NBA All-Star, we are going to have access into events. We are going to have access, like you said, on the court, media days. We're going to give you up-close and personal looks at these players, what they're saying, what they're doing, the hottest outfits, drip, shoes.
Yeah, Jenna's going to be all over the drip stuff.
You know. So tune into the 7-Footers Instagram. I will be taking over.
Yes, she will. Look out.
And it's going to be a good time. I mean, we're going to hit the ground running here. And we'll definitely keep you guys posted as well on how the moods are in Chicago with the recent passing of Kobe Bryant and how the NBA kind of plans to handle that in their first big event. After his passing.
Yeah, for sure.
So stay tuned, guys. We will be cluttering your social media all week.
And as always, you know where to find us. 7-Footers Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, at 7-Footers Podcast on Twitter and Instagram, at JS Hector, at Jenna Lemoncelli. We're also on CLNS Media. And yeah, that's the 7-Footers.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.